Alright, now let's implement the modular monolithic software architecture using real-world project. You might have used e-commerce stores like Amazon and Alibaba, eBay, and some other stores in the world. But they are using different modules. There is a product module, and if I add product module over here, product and order module, order, and then customer module, or maybe inventory module, inventory, and customer module, customer, right? So this module is having the logic of storing all customers and the information about different customers and their orders, right? And then the inventory module is storing the information about the inventory, like how many products are available for a particular product. And then the order module stores the information about individual orders. And similarly, the product module stores the information about product, like a product title, price, and images, and maybe description, etc. Right? So all of them are used in the client code. If I talk about the main code, the in our case, we will be using main.java file for using all the modules inside the main, right? So whenever user want to interact with the whole system, so the user will be provided with the objects of product, and then the object of order, the object of customer, the object of inventory. So now inside the client code, we have objects of different modules which are part of the system. So we can use those modules, right? If the user want to place an order, he can place an order. If the user want to retrieve information about a product, so he can do that as well, because inside the client code we have an object of product, and which can be used to achieve a function which is defined inside the product, like showing different products, filtering products, etc. And here, if the user want to see the customer's records, so he can see the customer's information as well, because the customer module objects is also added, and same is the case for inventory, right? So inside the main, we are having very minimal logic, business logic code, and all the modules have their own, business logic and data, right? So the order module will be having its business logic inside the order module, and also the data will be stored inside the order module. Same is the case with the product module, with the inventory module, and with the customer module. So now let's implement this same system using Java programming language. So I have already written a code, and I will explain that code just to save your time. Alright, so this is the application which I have built, and I'll be explaining this application line by line. And this is the main class. Inside this main class, we have the main function as well. And this file is stored inside another folder called app, and here you can see this is the folder. Inside this folder we have the file main.java, and we have the other modules as well, like inventory module, orders module, products module. So these are some other modules which we will be using inside the main, right? So I'm gonna go back to the main.java, and here you can see this is the package name, like in which folder this main.java class exists. So this main.java class exists inside the app folder, so that's why the package name should be app. And then I have imported some of the classes from other packages, like I want to use the functionality of inventory service class. So that inventory class is actually present inside the inventory package. If I look for the inventory package, so I can find the class inventory service. So here you can see I have inventory service class. Inventory service class is this one, right? So and this is the code for the inventory class. If I go back to the main.java, so this is the main.java
file, and inside this man.java we have the man function. And I've also imported the order service, and this order service class is imported from orders package. And then I have imported the scanner class, and this is from java.util package. So these are some of the classes which I'll be requiring while running this program. So whenever we run this program, the control will start from here, this man function. And here in line number 10, you can see I have declared an object of scanner class type, and then I pass the parameter system.in. This is the parameter required whenever you want to declare an object of scanner class, right? And then inventory service, this is yet another class which I have imported, and I want to use an object of that class. So here you can see I have declared an object. And again, whenever you want to declare an object of any class in Java, you have to use new keyword and then the class name, and then inside the parenthesis you have to pass the parameter. But in this case, the inventory service class is not accepting any sort of parameter, so I'm gonna leave this empty. And then the order service class, I want to add an object of order service class as well. And here you can see its name is orders. And but this class requires inventory type of object, inventory service type of object, and inventory object is already initialized in line number 11, so I can pass that object to this class, and I've done that, right? So then I've started the loop while, and inside the condition I made this true, so this loop will keep running forever until unless it meets break statement, right? So it will show this setup menu to the user. The first line will be like modular monolith shop, and then 1 view products, 2 create order, and 3 view all orders, and then 0 to exit, and then choose, right? So whenever this program will be run, this setup menu will be shown to the user, and the user can enter 1, 2, 3 or 0. And if he enters 1, so he will see list of products. If he enters 2, so he would be able to create an order. Similarly, if he enters 3, so he will see all the orders placed by the customers. And then if he want to exist, let me try again. And if he wants to exit, so he can enter 0, right? And then this message will be shown choose, right? Then in line number 22, we actually declared a variable of type integer, and we want to initialize that variable by taking value from user via keyboard. sc.next. sc is nothing but it's an object of scanner class which we declared in line number 10. So we can use this object, and this object is associated with a function next int which is used for taking integer type of input from the user, and then that input will be stored inside the ch variable, and it is of type integer, right? And then based on that ch variable, we actually want to run this switch statement. So inside the switch, we will look for the value of ch. If the ch equals to 1, so then this block of code will be executed, and this message will be shown to the user, available products. And then since we have an object of inventory service which was declared in line number 11, inventory service and inventory, so we can use this object, and this object is associated with another function, that is get all, and then for each, and then we can call this function. We will get all the products, and then for all products we want to run this function, and this function will print out all the products information, right? So if I click on this, it will take me to the inventory service class, and inside that class we can see the definition of this function. So again, the inventory service class is inside another package, and the package name is inventory. So inventory service is a class, and it is defined and inside inventory package. So if I click on this get all, so I'll be taken to the definition of the function. And here you can see public list products and get all return products. So what actually products is? Products is a list, right? So I've declared in line number 11 here you can see private and then a list and then the type of list which you want to declare. So in this case I want to declare list of product. Product is user defined data type. If I click on this, so I'll be taken to the class where the product variable is declared. So here you can see this is the product package, and here's where we can see the definition of the product variable. So it stores the product ID, the product name, the price, the stock, and then this is the constructor. So whenever we want to create a product, so we have to pass these much parameters to this constructor, right? And then the constructor will take all those parameters and will initialize the object, and the ID and name, price, and stock will be stored for that particular product. And then we have some functions. Since all these variables are private, so we need a way to access all these variables, and we can do that by using the getters. And here you can see for get ID we have this getter function, and this getter, whenever you call this function, so you will get an ID of the product. And similarly, if you need a name of product, so you can call this function, and if you need a price, so you will call this function. Similarly, if you want to get the stock, so you can call this function and it will return the stock. And then if you want to reduce the stock, so again for that we have also a function, and it will receive quantity variable, and then it will update the stock. Stock will be equivalent to stock minus quantity, right, which you want to decrease. And then finally we have toString function, and this toString function will return string type of value, and this is public function. That means that we can call this function from outside of this class, and it will return the ID of the product as a string, and it will add the ID with this colon and empty space, and then the name as a string, and it will be added with this strings, and then the price of the product, and then this type of strings, and then finally the stock as a string will be returned. So we will get a line in which we will see the ID, the name, and then the price, and then the stock for a particular product, right? So this is very simple. Now if I go back to the inventory class, so this is the inventory package, and inventory service class is defined over here, and you already saw that the product is a class, and inside the product we have some public functions, and we can call those functions. And in this line we actually want to create a list of products, so we can have multiple products inside this list, and the name of the list will be products. And this is the syntax that how you can declare a list. So you have to write the array list keyword, and then the angular brackets, and then the parentheses, right? So that's how you can declare a list of products. And now the name is products, so I can initialize the values inside this list, right? And here you have to keep one thing in mind, that this list is built-in list which I am using, and you have to memorize this syntax for declaring list that is built-in type, and this is the syntax, right? So now I want to add products inside this list. Initially this list will be empty, and here you can see the products. This is the list name. .add is a built-in function, and that is associated with this list, and what actually it does, it add product to the list, right? And then I use the new keyword, the product ID, the left name, the price, and the stock. So these parameters should be passed. You already saw that whenever we want to add a product, so we have to pass these parameters to the product class. Only then the product object will be initialized. So if I want to add more products, so I can call this add function, and I can add more products. For time being I am adding only 4 products, so I call the products.add function only 4 times. And then I have get by ID function, and this get by ID function actually take a parameter of integer type id and then filter the products by id. If it finds a product with the same id, so it return that product, and if the product is not found, so then it return null values. Then lastly, I have a function for reduce stock, and this reduce stock function actually returns boolean type of value. This is the return type, and this is public function, and the last function was also public, and in fact this was also public, which means that you can call all these functions outside of this class, right? And here you can see I am taking two parameters, one of id and then the other one is quantity, and both of them are of integer type. And then the product p is actually initialized, and this line number 25, I'm calling a function get by id, and if the product is found, so that product is returned and it is stored inside the p variable. And you already saw that get by id, this function was returning product type of variable, so I can store that product type of variable only in this type of variable, right? So product type of variable is returned and it is stored in variable p, which is of type product. And then if p equals to null, so then the p dot get stock or p dot get stock less than quantity, so then it will return false. If the product is either not found or the stock is not available, so then false will be returned by this reduce function. Otherwise, p dot reduce stock will be called and the quantity will be reduced from the current quantity, current stock, right? So then true will be returned by this function. Now that I already explained all these functions, let me go back to the main.java, and this is the inventory class. And let me go back to the main.java, and here you can see this was for case number 1, and you already saw that how inventory object can get all the products, and then for each of the product this function will be called, and each of the product information will be printed on the screen, and then the case will be broken, right? If the ch holds 2 value, so then this block of code will be executed, and then the customer or the user will be asked to enter the product id, and the id will be stored inside the integer variable, and then enter the quantity, and it will be stored in the quantity variable. Using the scanner object, I can use to take the input from the user. So this time I'm using next.nt, since I'm taking integer type of value as an input from the user. And then system.out.print line orders.create order. Here I can use an object of order class, and order class was order service class was already imported in line number 4, so I can use an object, and the object was initialized in line number 12. So here you can see I used the object orders.create order. So now the create order function will be defined inside the order class. If I click on this, so I'll be taken to the definition of create order class. So here you can see this is the definition of create order class, and I was taking two parameters, one for the product ID and the other one for quantity. So first of all, in line number 21, it was retrieving the product from the inventory. If the product exists in the inventory, so it will be returned and stored in variable p. If this function, if the inventory has no product with that ID, so it will return the null value, and then the p will hold null value. So it can either hold the product value, the actual product, or it can hold the null value as well. And then we actually want to compare if p equals to null, so then return and product not found, right? So then this message will be shown that whatever product you want to purchase, that product is not available in the inventory. And then if p.getStart is less than quantity and it is not equals to null, so then again we will show this function that the quantity is less than the stock is less than quantity, so there is no enough stock, and again this message will be showed to the user shown. And then the inventory dot reduce stock, if both of them are not true, so then this block of code will be executed. Which means that if neither P holds null nor the stock is less than the quantity, so then this block of code will be executed, and it will call the function reduce stock. And again, the reduce stock function is inside the inventory class, not here in order class. So we can use the object of inventory dot reduce stock, and we have to pass product ID and the quantity, and the reduce stock will reduce the quantity. And then we want to create an object of order type, and but whenever you want to create an object of order type, so you have to pass two parameters: the actual product which you want to order, and the quantity, like how many quantity you want to purchase. So these two parameters need to be passed to the order class. Only then you can create an object of order type, right? So if I click on the order class, so I'll be taken to the order class, and where you will see the actual class of order, right? So here you can see this is the order class, and inside this class we have three private variables, one of product type, and the other one is quantity, and the third one is the total, right? And you already saw the product class, so I do not need to explain that class again. And here you can see this is the constructor. In this constructor, all these three variables will be initialized, right? So in this constructor, we have to pass the product type object, and then the quantity, right, of integer type. So this dot product equals to product. The product will be initialized, and then the quantity will be initialized, right? So here you can see that we use this pointer, and this pointer means that the object for which this constructor is called, so for that object we want to initialize the product value, and it will be initialized, it will be it will be equivalent to the value which we have passed to the constructor, right? And similarly, for the calling object, we want to initialize the quantity variable, right? And it will be equivalent to the quantity which we have passed to this constructor. So this is just the initialization of all these three variables. And then this dot total equals to p dot get price multiplied by quantity. So whatever quantity you have passed, it will be multiplied by the actual price of the product, and you will get the total price of the order, right? For example, if a product costs $50, so $50, and you want to place two objects of the same product, right? So if you want to order two objects of the same product, so then 50 will be multiplied by 2, and the total will be 100, right? And then we have the function summary, and it returns string type of value and product dot get name, and this function will return the string type of value, and the name will be returned by this function get name, and as a string it will be returned in addition to multiplication sign, and then the quantity, and then the rs, and then the total price, right? So it will show a summary of the order, like product name laptop, and then the quantity equals to 2, then the price equals to if the individual price of laptop is $50, so the total price will be $50 multiplied by 2, so it will be equivalent to 100. So this function will just simply print the summary of the order. So this was for case number 2. If the customer want to place an order, so he will enter 2, right? And then the case number 2 will be executed, and you already saw that how the functions will call each other. Now let me go back to the main function, the main class. So this was for case number 2, and we already saw that how this case is executed. Now let's talk about the case number 3, and here we want to see list of orders, right? So this was in the menu 3 view all orders. For example, if the customer want to see all orders, so then he will enter 3, and this case will be executed, and then orders, and the orders object is associated with the function like get orders, and then for each order the summary will be printed, right? So if I click on this get orders, so you will see here we return list of orders. This is the return type of this get orders function, and it simply return a list of orders, and this list of orders is already declared and initialized in line number 13 in order service, right? And here it is initialized in the constructor of this class, right, order service. So whenever we want to place an order, so we need to pass an inventory type of object, and then this inventory equals to inventory. So we actually want to initialize the inventory object, and then and this is the actual function where the order is placed, right? If the product is found and the stock is available, then the order will be created, and this the stock will be reduced, and then the order will be created here in line number 26, and then the order will be added to the list, and then in this function the list of orders will be returned. Now let me go back to the main.java, and this is the main.java. You already saw that how the case number 3 is executed. Now in case number 0 it will say goodbye, since case number 0 was for exit, right? So you saw all these 3 cases, and if you want to add more cases, you can definitely do that. This is very simple, right? And the default case as well available over here, and in this default case we are just telling the user that you have entered an invalid choice. And now if I run this program, so you will see the output, and if I want to simulate each of this feature, so let me run this program, run code. So yeah, we have got a lot of errors. We want to remove all these errors. So for that, since this main.java is using inventory class and order services, and these classes are not inside this same package app, right? They are from different package like orders package, inventory package. So we not need to compile all the files at once. And for that we have to first of all we have to go to the main directory where this app exists. So if I click on ls, so I will see the list of packages available. So now I'm inside this app package. So I want to get out of this package, and I want to go back to the source directory, right? So where I can access all the packages, not only app. I'm inside the app, so I want to go back to the main directory. So I'm going to click on cd and then double dot. It will go back, and now I am at the main directory. If I click on ls, so I will see list of packages. So these are the packages: app, inventory, orders, and products. Now I want to compile all the files at once. Now that I am at src directory, so I can compile all the files inside this src directory, right? So whatever files I have inside the app with the Java extension, inventory, orders, or products, all of them will be compiled. I need to write a command like something like this one. So this is the command javac and then asterisk and then \asterisk.java. So this is the command which is used for compiling all the products inside the src main root directory. So in this main root directory we have packages, and inside each packages we have .java files, and all of those Java files will be compiled. I need to run this command, and you can see all the programs they are compiled. Now I want to run the the main.java app, so I can run that by running this command java.javas and then empty space app.main. So inside the app folder I have the main file, and I want to run that. Now the main will be run, and here you can see the menu. If I want to view products, so I'm going to enter 1, and this is the list of products which are available right now. And for example, if I want to create an order, so I'm going to click on I'm going to enter 2, and then I'm going to enter the product ID. For example, I want to buy a laptop, so I'm going to enter 1. So the quantity for the laptop is 10, and if in case I want to order 12 quantity, so I will receive a warning message. The order will not be completed. So I'm going to enter 12, and here you can see not enough stock, since there were only 10 quantities available for the laptops. So if I enter 2 again, and if I click enter ID, so I want to place order for the laptop, so I'm gonna enter 1, and then the quantity, for example 10 quantities I want to place an order. So here you can see order created, a laptop multiply by 10, and this is the total price, this is which is calculated, right? So now if I want to see list of orders, so I'm going to enter 3, and only one order is placed, and that order is already shown over here. So this is the summary, right? Now if I want to exit, so I can enter 0. And with this, this tutorial comes to an end, and I hope you have now clear idea of how modular monolithic software architecture works.
Thank you so much for watching this. Before you go, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of my upcoming videos. I regularly share valuable lessons, practical tips, and step-by-step tutorials to help you improve and grow. And if you are serious about mastering software design and architecture and want a complete structured learning experience, so I have created a full course that includes detailed lessons, assignments, quizzes, and downloadable workbooks to help you practice and apply what you learn. So if that sounds helpful, just check the link in the description below and enroll in the course today. I would love to see you inside and support you on your learning journey.